It's time to see what this Indiana Fever front office is made of. Are they willing to let Justine Passat, someone with extreme potential, catch and shoot, stretch for high percentage from three? Are they willing to let her walk? Or are they willing to cut Damiris Dantas? Are they willing to cut Bree Hall? Are they willing to cut somebody on this roster to ensure Justine Passat?
The Indiana Fever have just 24 hours to make a decision that could have a major impact on the team's future. Reports indicate that the Las Vegas Aces have submitted an offer sheet for Justine Passat, a young developmental player who has spent most of the season on Indiana's bench. Despite the Fever's need for more consistent three-point shooting, Passat has had very limited opportunities to prove herself. Now the organization faces a difficult choice: keep a promising young shooter or risk losing her to one of the WNBA's top teams. It's a decision that could reveal a lot about how Indiana plans to build its roster around Caitlin Clark in the years ahead.
The Las Vegas Aces have tendered an offer sheet to Fever developmental player Justine Passat. The Fever have just 24 hours to respond via putting her on the standard roster before she heads to the Aces. Somebody who we've asked all season long, can we call her up? Can we see what she's got? But instead, we go out and we sign Grace Van Tooten. We give her a standard roster spot, while Justine Passat, somebody whose game actually fits more with our star player, sits on the bench and gives us a fashion show every night.
So why is Justine Passat generating so much attention? She brings one skill every team values in today's game: the ability to stretch the floor and knock down three-point shots. That's exactly the kind of player many believe fits perfectly alongside Caitlin Clark, whose elite court vision creates open scoring opportunities for her teammates. Throughout the season, many fans hoped Passat would earn a chance with the main roster, but she remained on a developmental contract while Indiana explored other lineup options. Now, with the Las Vegas Aces reportedly showing interest, the Fever must decide whether to invest in her potential or let another contender add a player who could thrive in the right system.
Underdog reveals that Justine Passat signed the offer sheet. So the Aces called, hey, we're putting together an offer sheet for you. Justine Passat said, please get me out of here. Becky, I beg of you, Becky, please get me out of here. Wait, you're saying I could go to Las Vegas Aces? I could go to a championship organization, a team that's ran by Mark Davis and Tom Brady, has a part in the ownership group, and Becky Hammond, and whoa, this ain't too bad. Wait, I can learn behind Asia Wilson? Oh, this actually isn't a bad idea. This actually isn't a bad idea at all.
This is where the situation becomes even more interesting. Reports indicate that Justine Passat quickly signed the offer sheet from the Las Vegas Aces, suggesting she was ready for a new opportunity. After spending much of the season on a developmental contract with limited playing time, it's understandable why another organization showing confidence in her would be appealing. The Aces are one of the WNBA's most successful franchises, led by championship coach Becky Hammond and built to compete for titles every season. For a young player looking to develop, that's an opportunity few would want to pass up. Now the spotlight shifts back to Indiana and how the Fever respond.
The Fever have few hours to prove they're a serious franchise by cutting Dantas rather than a young player with potential who's on a 4-year minimum contract. Do the Indiana Fever, do they have the guts? Are they going to prove that they are actually a real deal organization, or are they really going to let Justine Passat walk? And I just refreshed the Indiana Fever page. No news of it yet. No news of Justine Passat staying or going. Indiana Fever are on the clock and fans are reacting. But wait, is Las Vegas' roster not full yet, or do they want to take her? No, Las Vegas is ready right now to cut somebody off that roster to bring Justine Passat in.
The Fever now face two very different paths, and both come with important questions. They can choose to keep Pissett by creating room on the roster, showing they still believe in her long-term potential. Or they can allow her to leave, risking the loss of a young player many believe could fit well alongside Caitlin Clark. Either decision will say something about the organization's roster-building strategy. As the Fever continue building around their franchise star, every move matters, and fans will be watching closely to see whether Indiana prioritizes developing young talent or continues relying on its current roster structure.
And the funny thing about this, you have Aces fans celebrating. They know what's sitting on our bench. They know what's sitting on our bench. The Aces did something, oh my God. We finally did something. Does she play defense? She's a better defense than I think people give her credit for. She's not a lockdown. She's not a great defender. Becky Hammond can make it work. Becky Hammond can make it work. Especially when you got somebody like Asia Wilson shutting shit down in the paint. Yeah, they'll make it work. When you got a ball hawk like Kennedy Carter out there, yeah, she'll make it work.
The Las Vegas Aces' reported interest in Justine Pissett also highlights a different approach to roster building. Even with one of the league's strongest rosters, the Aces continue looking for players who fit specific roles and strengthen their system. If they see Pissett as a floor-spacing forward with long-term potential, it shows they're always searching for ways to improve. Meanwhile, Indiana now has an important decision to make. Do they keep a young player who could complement Caitlin Clark's playmaking, or do they move in a different direction? Whatever they decide could say a lot about the franchise's long-term vision.
Yeah, Becky Hammond. But remember, I was supposed to be happy about Monique Billings, right? I was supposed to be happy about Monique Billings and Ty Harris. Those were our huge off-season signings. Woo! Whoa! I'm falling over in excitement. I'm going to jump, Amber. There's just no...
Fans have reacted strongly to this situation because many have been hoping to see Justine Pissett get a bigger opportunity throughout the season. Whenever the Fever struggled with outside shooting or floor spacing, her name frequently came up in discussions. Now, with another team reportedly making a move for her, many supporters are questioning whether Indiana waited too long. The Fever had months to evaluate her development, and this decision now puts the organization under even greater scrutiny. As the team continues building around Caitlin Clark, every roster move will be closely watched by fans looking for signs of a clear long-term strategy.
Basketball player than Dantas. You know what they'll say? Oh, Dantas gives us depth, gives us paint depth. Gives us paint depth, gives us experience. That's going to be the narrative that Stephanie White runs with. If they do keep Justine Pissett, I probably won't do a video. I'll probably just edit it in the description if they let her walk. Unless it's tomorrow, I probably won't do a video. I'll just edit it in the description. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like the video, hype the video, and subscribe to the channel. That would mean so much to me.
The biggest question isn't just whether the Fever keep Justine Pissett. It's what this situation says about the organization's decision-making. If Indiana chooses to keep her only after another team shows interest, some fans may wonder why that opportunity didn't come sooner. It also raises broader questions about how the franchise evaluates and develops young talent. As the Fever continue building around Caitlin Clark, roster decisions become even more important. Clark's playmaking is one of the league's biggest strengths, but sustained success depends on surrounding her with players whose skills fit the system. Whether the Fever match the offer or allow Pissett to leave, this decision could become an important test of the organization's long-term vision and its commitment to building a championship-caliber roster.
They're being proactive. How the Indiana Fever are always being reactive. It's kind of odd, right? People complain about the WNBA always being reactive, but the Indiana Fever, they're just as reactive as the WNBA. They're just as reactive as Kathy Engelbert. They're not proactive at all. We fans have been wanting her to play all season. Dantas is dead weight, so are a few other players, though I think we all know the Fever will let her go and bring in some 5'8" guard to replace her that played at South Carolina.
Now the attention shifts to what happens next, because this decision could have implications far beyond a single roster move. The Indiana Fever are no longer just deciding the future of Justine Pissett. They're making a decision that many fans believe reflects the organization's overall philosophy. Whether they choose to keep her or allow her to move on, the outcome will inevitably be viewed as a statement about how Indiana evaluates talent and plans to build around Caitlin Clark. Since Clark entered the WNBA, expectations surrounding the Fever have changed dramatically. The franchise has become one of the league's biggest attractions, drawing record television audiences, sold-out arenas, and constant national attention. With that spotlight comes greater scrutiny. Every roster move, every coaching decision, and every personnel choice is now analyzed through one central question. Does this move help maximize Caitlin Clark's strengths? That's why the situation has become much bigger than one developmental player. It has sparked a broader discussion about roster construction, player development, and long-term planning. Clark's greatest strength has never been just her scoring. It's her ability to elevate everyone around her. Her vision, passing, and pace force defenses into impossible situations, creating open looks for teammates throughout the game. To maximize those strengths, many analysts believe the Fever need players who can consistently space the floor, move without the basketball, finish in transition, and convert open perimeter shots. For months, many supporters wondered whether Justine Pissett would receive an opportunity to prove herself. Despite spending the season developing within the organization, she remained on the outside looking in while Indiana continued experimenting with different rotations. Now, with another team reportedly showing strong interest, fans are asking a simple question. Did the Fever overlook a player who may have fit their system all along? The reported interest from the Las Vegas Aces has only intensified the conversation. Championship-caliber organizations are often recognized for identifying role players before everyone else does. They focus on basketball fit, player development, and long-term value rather than simply reacting when circumstances force their hand. Whether that's the case here or not, the situation has naturally led to comparisons between how different organizations approach roster building. If Indiana decides to keep Pissett, many will see it as a commitment to investing in young talent and preserving organizational depth. If they choose another direction, the discussion will likely shift toward whether the Fever fully explored every opportunity to develop a player already within their system. Either outcome will become part of the larger conversation surrounding the franchise's long-term vision. This decision also highlights an important reality of today's WNBA. Success isn't built solely through star power. Every championship team depends on role players who understand their responsibilities and complement the team's biggest stars. Building around a player like Caitlin Clark requires more than adding talent. It requires assembling players whose strengths naturally fit her style of play. Floor spacing, perimeter shooting, defensive versatility, and transition offense all become critical pieces of that puzzle. As the Fever continue shaping their future, these are the decisions that define organizations. Great teams aren't built overnight. They're built through consistent roster evaluation, patient player development, and a willingness to make difficult choices when opportunities arise. That's why this moment has captured so much attention across the basketball world. Ultimately, this is about more than Justine Pissett. It's about the direction of the Indiana Fever as a franchise. Fans want to know whether the organization has a clear blueprint for surrounding Caitlin Clark with the right supporting cast and building a team capable of competing at the highest level year after year. With the deadline approaching, the basketball world will be watching closely. Whatever decision Indiana makes won't simply affect one roster spot. It will help shape the perception of the franchise's vision, its commitment to player development, and its strategy for building a championship contender in the Caitlin Clark era.